I have a blind spot monitor from Innov that I'd like to install on this 2024 Honda Goldwing. I also have a rear-facing dash cam. How the heck am I going to install this?
This video is sponsored by Cruiseman's Garage Honda Goldwing Maintenance Video Series.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Cruiseman's Garage. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting way that you can install things on the rear of your Honda Goldwing. Now this applies to a 2018 to 2024. We don't know yet about 25, but at least from 2018 to 2024 Honda Goldwing. It doesn't matter if you ride a tour or a bagger. I'm going to show you a product from Traxxion that solves a very unique problem, and that is, how do you mount these items like this sensor for the blind spot monitor on the has to go back here on the back of the bike. Now what we've always done in the past, and this would apply also to a dash cam. You could also apply this if you have an action camera that you'd like to install on the rear of the bike. You could use it for that as well. We have always in the past, there's a couple of options. You can install it on top of this little shield for the light, for the license plate light. The problem is it's got a slight crown to it, and it makes it a little bit hard to get something perfectly level. The other issue, mounting something up here like in this position, if any of you have seen Robert White's video where he mounted this, that's what he did. He has it mounted to this little hood. He also has his rear-facing dash cam mounted there. Now, one thing you have to be concerned about is you need to be able to have access to this little panel above that for your emergency saddlebag unlock. In case your battery dies, the only way to start your motorcycle is to use a little key underneath this panel. So you need to be able to access that panel. The other option would be to mount this upside down on this surface right here. Now, to do that securely, you'd almost have to drill and use screws into this panel under the trunk, and a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to, damage the paint and everything on this plastic panel, but you could do that. Now you could use double-sided tape and stick it up there, but now you've got gravity working against that double-sided tape, and if it gets super hot in the summer, maybe where you're riding it's very hot, you just never know if that tape's going to let loose. Especially true like on my bike where I have the paint ceramic coated. It's super slick and that double-sided tape doesn't work that well there. So this brings us to a new product from Traxxion Dynamics. I had mentioned this issue to Max a few months ago and said it'd be really cool if we had a way to mount something on the back of the bike that was elegant and level and provided a little more options. And so Max came out with this, I don't even know if he has a name for it yet. I call it a shelf, but it's basically a little plastic shelf that's going to mount on top of this hood. Now let me open this up and we'll take a look at it, because I believe that what Max is doing at this point in time, or at least on this one, they're just basically being 3D printed. So he also includes in the package a couple of little primers for 3M primer, which is like a adhesive promoter, and that will help this 3M tape. He's using the 3M, the red 3M tape on the back. That stuff is super, super sticky. This basically is going to sit right up here like this. And this almost perfectly match it. In fact, it does perfectly match the contour of this little hood. And what's nice about it is it's just a little bit wider. It extends out to the edges. So you can mount your items out here on the sides, and that will still give you access to reach up here and remove this panel if you need to get in to unlock your left saddlebag should you need to. So this morning what we're going to do is I'm going to install this on this rear fender, and let's see how it looks once we get done. Now, something else I'll probably use this for, not only the in-off system, I'll probably also use it for an action camera. I've got a little Go 3 action camera, and I can rig up some sort of just a little metal bracket here because it has a magnet on it. And I can just slap it on there with a magnet and get some good rear shots from the back of the motorcycle. So the first thing we want to do, we always want to work on a very clean surface. I'm going to use a little isopropyl alcohol on a small piece of microfiber so that we get good adhesion. This will remove any wax or grease or oil that's on this surface. And by the way, this surface was not ceramic coated. Okay, that should be good and clean, and we'll let that dry. The next step, you can see kind of where these red strips are for the adhesive, and this is going to sit just like this. We're going to try to get it lined up as close as we can using using this edge and this. I'll probably tip it like this and then set it down carefully. Now, this adhesive promoter is really important because what it does is it just provides a great surface for that red tape. This is primer 94. He gives you 2 of these. I don't think you're going to need more than 1. What happens is there's a little dot here, and when you crush it, you'll hear it pop, and it basically, the primer is back in this part of the tube, and it will start flowing down to this little felt. It's kind of a felt material tip, and once it flows down there, you can then just start applying it. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. We'll see if you can actually hear that crack. Yeah, you can hear it there. Okay, now we'll look to see if that primer, yeah, I can see it now. It's already the liquid. And if you get too much of this primer, you can clean it off later with alcohol. I'm not going to put it all the way over. I'm just going to put it kind of in the area that I think that red tape is going to stick. And like I say, we can clean off any excess primer a little bit later if we need to. Okay, we're done with that. We're going to let that sit for just a little bit. Okay, so now we're going to peel off. I don't know if I can do it with a glove on. In fact, I can take my glove off now. I just didn't want to get any of that promoter on my skin. So let's see if we can. Sometimes a pick can help get into the edge of that tape and just kind of lift it up a little.
A few moments later.
Without a doubt, the hardest part of this installation is getting this red tape backing off of this sticky tape. It is so sticky. And I did it off camera because I didn't want to waste 15 minutes of your time. You can see I got a couple of fingerprints on there, but that was the hardest part, was getting off the red backing. Okay, now let's see if we can't stick this thing down and get it lined up properly. Now I'm sitting directly behind the bike because I want to be able to look at it as I position it. I want to get that front edge right to the edge of that little lip, and then I'm just going to set it right down on top. Move it just a little bit to the left. That's pretty good. That's pretty close right there. And then I'm going to mash down as hard as I can. I'm going to hold it there for a few seconds. And that is not going anywhere. You can see I can still, it's not easy, but I can still get to this cover if I need to. And in fact, Traxxion makes a little handle you can mount to this emergency access cover. Might not be a bad idea to purchase that as well. Makes it a little easier to get to. And now I've got a beautiful flat surface to mount accessories to. So now I've got a really nice little shelf that's flat and it's wide enough I can install my rear facing accessories like my rear facing dash cam, as well as that INOV sensor for the blind spot monitor. I think it's a very nice product. It fits in with the look of the bike nicely. It matches perfectly. In fact, if you didn't even know it was there, you probably wouldn't notice it. So I think I'll probably go ahead and order that little handle for that emergency cover from Traxxion. I think that's probably a good thing to have as well. Now this might seem expensive at $49, but you couldn't make one yourself for that. Even if you had a 3D printer, it'd take a lot of work to knock one of these out, to have it look this nice and this professional. So I think it's well worth the price from that perspective. And I'll put links in the description of the video where you can order this from Traxxion. And also that little handle, I'll put a link to that as well. Now if you enjoyed this video, you got anything out of it, do me a favor and give it a thumbs up. That really does help my YouTube rankings. And until I see you on the next Cruiseman's Garage, remember what I always say, ride often, but ride safe.